Be afraid. Be very afraid.
So, in Night of the Living Dead, there's a scene at the top of the stairs where he runs into his, like, the third zombie in the movie, where it's very clearly the inflatable, like, clown thing that was around when we were kids, and he beats it to death with a poker, a fire poker from the fireplace, and that's by far my favorite part of the movie. Like, hands down, my favorite part of the movie, by far. He says
It's
by
up
far.
there.
It's
It's a good.
well,
That's a
that's
good.
my favorite campy part of the movie. So I'll put it that way.
All right.
You talk about Night of the Living Dead, like the opening is still my favorite part. Like they're coming to get you, Barbara. Just I still get chills on it. It just imprint. Plus just the main character just kicking ass.
Yep.
You know, I just like in the original film because it was very iconic.
Yeah.
To have a black actor in a lead role at that time, and George A. Romero did it so gracefully, did it with like a lot of force, and it worked out.
Mouthing off to
And
Whitey.
it's just a great movie.
There was a lot of that. There was a rift with a white guy the whole movie too. If we're going to talk about the race relations part,
That guy was an asshole.
he was.
He
but it didn't
deserved
matter.
it. He deserved it.
I think maybe that's why they leaned on him being such an asshole too, so that it was like taken better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But like, it was also sort of coincidental. He cast the best guy he found, and then it worked out to be this big commentary on race.
Isn't that something though?
Yep.
Isn't that something? I kind of like that. Oh, he just cast the best dude for the role, who did the best job with the acting. What a novel idea. Maybe we should do that all the time. Be great. We'll get like Asian Superman next. It'll be awesome. Awesome.
Well,
Glenn
they
from
do
Walking
that.
Dead.
That wouldn't. Now I'm thinking about it. I mean, anything can happen.
He's got to eat a couple
Anything can
cows and
happen.
lift a few weights, but you can make it work out. Sure.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for the new Spawn movie. Developmental Hell.
Ooh. You know what? I haven't seen them except for this HBO show. Spawn has let me down consistently. All right, so back to you know what? This would be a good time to divert from Night of the Living Dead because that's not what this episode's on, but it is on a movie with zombies.
Infected.
Oh no!
Infected is a good. Yeah, we'll go with
Infected.
infected, and that's the term they chose in 28 Days Later, which was the correct term because they're not zombies. Although they don't really get into like how they live, and they talk about that later on in the movie, how long they've been alive without food and water, which is super interesting. But we'll get to that later on. But yeah, we're talking about 28 Days Later, one of the better, well, not better, but one of the larger and really well received fast zombie style movies that came out in the early 2000s, right? Was it early 2000s?
2002.
2002.
Year I graduated from high school.
Sixth grade, buddy.
Yeah?
Sixth grade.
Hey, you're close enough to legal. Let's see those yearbook pics. You sexy bastard.
I was a chunky, slick-haired bastard, man.
Oh, we know you were.
Baby.
What about those thighs, right? If you guys don't know who I was imitating there, you need to educate yourselves.
If you guess correctly on the clip, again, we'll name drop you.
There you go.
So
that'll work. But yeah, we're doing 28 Days Later, which was actually I know none of the incidentals. Written by, directed by, I don't remember any of it.
Directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland.
Yeah, Alex Garland. I would have gotten that one.
We were talking about it right before show. Alex Garland has done a lot. Our favorite Ex Machina, as well as Civil War, as we talked about. And one of my favorites, Dredd. Not the 1995 Judge Dredd. The Carl Urban 2012 Judge Dredd. I messed that up. I said Judge Dredd.
Machina reminds me of La Femme Nikita, and all I could think of was like a covert spy coming in pretending to be like a Russian au pair to hide from Putin, but she's actually carrying his love child.
Played by Scarlett Johansson.
The 13 episode first season and shockingly well received on a Ted Turner network. Machina.
TNT. Yeah,
Yeah.
TNT.
TNT. USA,
It was an-
TNT, and there was at least one more.
TBS. So he was TNT, TBS,
Turner
Turner
Broadcasting.
Classic,
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the other one.
CNN.
He owned
Yep.
CNN?
Yeah, CNN
Oh,
was
yeah.
in too.
Yowza.
24-hour news.
Just popping
Yeah.
out networks and beating up Tina.
And he owned the
Yes.
Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
And he managed them for like a game or two.
That's wild. Couldn't have done worse. If it was 96, maybe he did well.
No, it was
And
like
he owned WCW.
Yep, and
Yep.
WCW.
Which was on his channel too all the time.
Mhm.
But yeah. So writing Ex Machina is an achievement that is pretty high in my opinion. That was a fantastic movie, and the writing's got a lot to do with it. I don't know if it's an adapted screenplay or if he wrote it from the ground up. That
He wrote it
doesn't
from the
matter.
It's
ground up.
written by. Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's adapted.
Yeah.
I think it.
You think he wrote that? Like he came up with the
believe
whole
right.
concept? Damn.
Yeah. He's amazing. Alex Garland is amazing. I mean, he created 28 Days Later.
If you
I
zoom
mean-
out far enough, like, yeah, 28 Days Later was great too, and it had a lot to do with the small parts. The small moving parts are what make that movie great.
Yes.
And which, yeah, we'll do Ex Machina another time, I guess, because I got a lot to say about what he did right with that. 28 Days Later, it's the character work. In the
Oh, yeah.
beginning, that's really what draws you in. And we were talking about briefly before the show started, there was something about the similarity with how it starts and how a beloved AMC series starts as well. Really, the action of the movie starts with the main characters waking up from a coma.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's waking up from a coma into a world that doesn't exist anymore.
That'd be so nice.
After
Oh,
The-
no.
No? Oh, okay.
inadvertent
Now it's
do-gooder
infected.
release.
Inadvertent do-gooder released?
Yeah,
Somebody woke
No,
him
not
up?
him, but releasing the virus.
Oh, right, because he was an
Yeah.
idiot.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
he was
get
an
a bunch of people who think they're doing the rightish thing by breaking the lab monkeys out. But I don't know if you get caught and the guy is begging you not to release them, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, that's a sign.
I don't
And
know.
they learned.
Well, I
They
mean,
learned.
yeah, they learned.
But
Bubbles
I-
beat them to death.
I'd go back. I'd go back
Malls.
a couple minutes before
Malls.
that to Chimpwork Orange,
Oh, chimp work, Orin.
because that's definitely how this movie
That's-
opens. That chimp being forced to watch the news.
Yeah, chimp
I was
work,
thinking
Orin is
about
great.
that.
I mean, it's pretty much the archetype. Fox News was in its infancy at best back then, but I mean,
Mhm.
you're pretty much getting the archetype right there, and you can go on the other side for MSN if you want. But that's pretty much what they do to people, the 24-hour news networks. They just turn them into angry rage monsters.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
100%.
24-hour news is 5 minutes of news and 55 minutes every hour of people giving your opinion on news.
Yeah. You're like, "Grr. Should lab monkeys be experimented on? News at 11. That's actually the old stuff.
That's classic news right
Yeah, it's
there.
local. News at 11 is when they would break into your 8 o'clock movie to tell you that crap. But
Listen, it's almost 10 p.m. Do you know where your
Um,
children are at?
no, but I know
Yeah.
where yours are. Those are
Some
good
poor
too.
person is driving to work right in the morning. They're just like, oh my God.
Yeah. What goes on with the beginning of this movie is great. And I did mention that this movie does start, in my opinion, the start is in the middle of the apocalypse, but they do a good job of opening with the scene of how it begins. So there's no ambiguity.
Yep.
They don't expo dump that later. They show us. It's pretty cool. And we get an idea how they developed this rabies adjacent virus that will spread throughout the island of the United Kingdom and Moida, cause everybody to Moida each other. And it's important to remind people that it doesn't get off of the island. Water is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And
I mean, you could see like one leaping onto a ship or something like that.
It
Maybe-
should have.
maybe we'll see it.
I mean, there's a new one coming out, so maybe it does eventually.
Maybe.
don't forget about 28 weeks later. I mean, that's going to be a first watch for me, but something can happen in that where it does. I mean, like,
Well,
By the end of
Ryan,
28 days later, it seems secluded.
I can
It seems
explain some
secluded at
things
the end
to
of
you,
it.
but I think we're just gonna let you believe that as a possibility and watch the movie. The beginning of that one will curl your toes, my friend. That movie's opening is harrowing. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I aspire to be as much of a scumbag husband as that man. But I just
That's
love my family too much.
so
That
it's going to
is
be one of those
scumbag.
hateful openings. Okay.
Oh, it's so good. It's very good. I'm not gonna say anything more so I don't ruin it. We'll do another one on that anyway. So Cillian Murphy, the Peaky Blinders, is the leading man in this film. And lead he does. Although is this his first movie? Like real big movie?
It's his first that's big.
And then he did Red Eye soon thereafter, and I was like, oh no, what are they doing to my boy?
You didn't
But
like
then he
Red
got
Eye?
luckily Peaky Blinders compared. No, not at all. But then he did Peaky Blinders and stuff, and we were okay.
He was a good scarecrow.
He was great.
He was
Didn't
good.
overact it. Just nailed the role. Was good.
Also in Inception.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
There's a few big name guys in this movie that are kind of in bit parts. Big name being like in quotes.
Are you talking about Mad Eye Moody?
Yeah, Mad Eye Moody's my guy.
Brendan Gleeson?
I almost corrected Cillian Murphy being the leading man because he kind of gets that stolen for about half the film.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, Frank's
Yeah,
good.
can't stand next
He's
to that
great.
big old
Great.
bear.
Not good.
Yeah.
And not stand in his shadow. He did a great job too, and he really crushes it in this movie. He really does.
Yeah, he does.
So the start of the film is he wakes up from the coma, he walks around and everybody's gone, and he doesn't know what the hell happened. And eventually he stumbles upon a gaggle of the infected that are like napping in a church or something like that, and they shamble. Actually, they don't do much shambling. They sprint all out
they're
sprint
sprinters.
after him. And he gets found by a couple of cool little freedom fighting Fugees, right?
Selena and Mark.
Ryan? Yeah.
I said Selena and Mark, but I was going to say you mentioned them being quick, and then you mentioned earlier about them being rabied. They have that rabied look and effect, and it works out very well, which I was thinking about it, reading something earlier about 28 Days Later. Even though it's not considered a zombie film, it reinvigorated the zombie genre.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For sure.
For the early 2000s. Like even Resident Evil being popular, because I think Resident Evil came out a few months later, which that's a whole other thing. They don't consider the movie like a zombie film. That's a creature film, quote unquote, but that's a discussion for another day. But a lot of other movies, I think like Dawn of the Dead, right? The remake came out in 2003. They had the fast zombie, which is very 28 Days Later inspired. So even though it invigorated it, I mean, in for good stuff and even some bad stuff.
It was like they were putting it all together at the same time. Resident Evil's got slow zombies, fast creatures, right? But the Dawn of the Dead was being developed alongside, probably post-production sort of. You got to imagine they're only a year apart in release.
I think they're 2.
Oh, they're 2 years? So I don't know.
I think Dawn is
2004?
Oh,
do you think it was possible that they caught a glimpse of 28 Days Later and started making Dawn of the Dead like right away?
It's possible, yeah.
That could have happened. Then it would have definitely been the fast zombies from that. And then you get the shambling shots from the roof, which was kind of cool too. That was cool because when they're inert, they're just kind of normal zombie looking, which is that was a good idea. So, any thoughts, John?
Don't get me going on Dawn 04.
We won't.
With the baby zombie?
I like the first 35 minutes of that movie a lot.
There's some parts of it that are cool, like when they're leaving the mall in the vans and they're just completely surrounded. Like that image is awesome.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff.
There's some other cool moments, but I think I'd like that movie better if you hadn't called it Dawn of the Dead.
Fair.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fair.
It's like, you know what? It's like the Fright Night. If it wasn't called the remake, if it wasn't called Fright Night, it'd be a great movie. But that's what, in our opinion, has hindered it. And watch that episode. It's a good
watch
episode.
it. Damn it, watch it. Back to the movie that's on the title of the episode. 28 days later, we get him to. One of the things about this movie, too, just to go on another aside, you're not dealing with hordes of zombies. They don't do that to you. That's not part of the big. There's no grandeur involved. In fact, they do a lot of that with the landscapes and with the travel, and they capture the beauty of the area very well. They
Mhm.
do not
Yes.
inundate us
Yes,
with
they do.
numbers of people. And then we just recently watched a movie that had a much smaller zombie count as well, right?
The Battery.
The Battery. And The Battery did a great job with that, as did 28 Days Later. You don't need a bajillion of them. You can make the illusion that there's many coming without
Yeah.
showing many on screen.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense the way they did it too. Like, I mean, they established that they're nocturnal predominantly.
Yeah, which is neat.
So when you're moving around in the day, you don't expect to see them. And then when they get out into the country, you're not going to see as many either. So they really
Yeah.
work with that.
Which is good. Very post I Am Legendy, by the way. Speaking of fast zombies,
Mhm.
another one,
Yes.
another movie with the quickies. So Cillian Murphy meets with the two actor or the character names you said,
Selena and Mark.
Selena and Mark. Selena, well, sorry about that, Mark. Selena's great, and she develops well.
She's awesome.
And she
She's
carries.
badass.
Yeah, she's an actress that I've seen maybe in one other movie. I think maybe two.
Naomi Harris.
Yeah,
Miss
She was
Moneypenny.
in. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in some of the recent Bonds.
yeah, and she's great. But she's that was the first time we saw her too, and she carried the
Yeah.
role really well. They get into it. They basically they save him. Selena and Mark save him, and then they bring him. They give him some Snickers and say, "All right, let's go." And they start moving through, and
Literally.
eventually they see a apartment building with some night lights or some like Christmas lights strung up. And they
Yeah.
decide
Well,
to go
before that,
invest-
they go to his house, his parents' house.
yeah.
And you mentioned with the whole light thing, that's when you learn about them being attracted, I guess,
Mhm.
to like the movement, but they are attracted to light. They have their senses. And Jim, Cillian Murphy, lights the candle. And when again, watching it for the first time, I saw it coming, but the creature still jumping through the window is still freaky. It gave me
Yeah.
Resident Evil, like Doberman vibes.
Yeah.
Well, they do
Like when
first
that part
person
you're in the
perspective from the creature first, or from
Yes.
the infected for the run up to the window. That catches you off guard too.
and it's all shaky and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. Evil Dead, like homage right there.
Panting like a dog. And then, of course, we kill one of our dudes, and Selena's a G about it. She's just like, you know what?
Oh yeah,
It happens. Don't do something stupid and kill somebody else.
he's
Yeah.
like crying. He's like, no, he's
Yeah.
no. Boom.
Well, she beats him to she machetes him to death in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
So-
brutal.
Ryan, when you're watching that for the first time, because I mean, I saw this in theaters, so I don't actually remember.
That's cool.
When she takes the machete to him, are you thinking in that moment she's just going to try to cut the arm off and save the man? Or are you fully instantly aware she's going to just carve him up?
So when I initially watching it and I saw that, I thought she was just cutting the arm off. I was like, okay, maybe she's helping him out. But then when she goes for the second swing and goes for like in the neck area, I was like,
Mhm.
oh shit, she's not taking anyone. And I feel like, you mentioned The Walking Dead. If they only listened to Shane, none of that shit would have happened. All right.
I mean,
None of that. And I mean, Selena's doing the
Told
right
her.
thing. She's just going haywire. And in this situation, I mean, you have to, as you see how these, like the infected are rabid.
Yeah.
And even when they turn, as we'll talk about later, the turning process is quick. And they even say
Yeah.
it takes 20 seconds for them to turn. And it's through blood, it's through saliva, it's
Mhm.
like, it's different. I love it.
And-
I love it.
Yeah, that's how this one can like take over all of England in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
A 20-second incubation time is
unreal.
devastating. Yeah.
You can't fight that. The only other film where they make it that quick is World War Z, isn't it? No, it's Dawn of the Dead as well is fast. There's no long, drawn out
Yeah.
turning process. Dawn of the Dead is fast too.
Which I mean, it works for 28 Days Later. I like, to go back to the original Dawn of the Dead again, to watch the fade into becoming a zombie is so cool.
Yeah.
The gradual loss of function. It's well done.
Getting weak, and then they die, and then they turn. Then they wake up again. Yeah. It's necessary, I think.
This transition is can be like when they're awake and you see that turn. It's very like vampiric in its way, like the quickness and just like the rage.
Yeah. And then we're going to get to, it's not even a bite or a cut.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the exposure to the blood.
Flash forward to the apartment building, because relevant. So they see lights and they run up a stairwell because the elevators are out, you idiots. And they run up the stairs. Yeah. And they get up to the top, and basically Judge Dredd's standing there waiting for them. And
good old Frank
being chased by, of course they have to get chased up these stairs. And what's his name in the movie?
Frank.
It is Frank, right?
Yeah.
Frank just clubs them to death and throws them, well, not even to death. He tosses them over the side and they plummet, stabbing 8 stories to the bottom, which is pretty neat. And then they get invited into this lovely apartment with a father and daughter. Very homey.
Frank is all like, he's geared up too. Like he's largely safe even when he's among the infected in the apartment. Like he's got so much gear on, he's not getting bit or bloody or anything.
He was linebackered out, yeah. He had like everything.
Riot shield.
Yeah, the riot shield was solid.
But not smart enough to bring it with him.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Would you leave your suit? Your mobile suit? No.
I wouldn't leave the apartment without it. It would be on.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere.
You mean drastically reduce your chance of becoming infected? No, I'll leave it at home.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll take my chances.
Frank and daughter's name?
Hannah.
Hannah Montana. So Frank and Hannah Montana.
Far from it.
True. They get brought into the fold, into the major group, and they leave the apartment and they decide they're going to travel to find this group that they've been hearing on the radio.
Yep.
Frank's got one of them cranky radios.
They've picked up a military safe zone radio feed.
Mm-hmm.
They want to head over there.
Listen.
Yeah.
They did not ever watch a zombie or post-apocalyptic movie if they're going to the military for help, because the military is never help.
Well, we also know they didn't watch one is because when they're traveling, first off, they went under our... Hold on, they okay, true on that. True.
Just a little late.
They were 50, it was like 75% helpful, 25% 25% helpful, 75% disaster. But I digress on that. They make the mistake by going under the tunnel. All right.
That's wild.
Jim's like, oh, this is a great idea. They run over. They go in there. He runs over the cars. Like this cab is like a tank. It's like a Buick LeSabre. He runs over the cars. He pops the tire. Like Jim warns him. And then as you're watching it, right, you hear like they're changing the tire. They're going as fast. The thrill, the intensity of like seeing like the rabbit, the creatures coming. You're on the edge. And it's so good. And, I was thinking about prom night, because I was thinking like, this is what, like, they didn't need like creatures or zombies in it, but they need more of a thrill to make it even better. And the conversation came up last night. I went to see the M80s, which is like a 80s homage band at the Pub Valley Golf Course, it was an amazing show. They kicked ass. And we talked about prom night, and I mentioned that it was overrated, and they were shocked that I said that. I said, well, if you really look at it, like, all right, you have Leslie Nielsen, you have Jamie Lee Curtis, but there's like nothing to it except the same slasher stuff, except for Slick. Slick was great. Now with 28 Days Later, there's like every opportunity for a thrill. You're on the edge of your seat, even for the smallest thing. Even if you know something wrong is going to go haywire, you're still like entertained. You're into it. You're awake. You're like, what's going to happen? And that's because of the acting and the writing by Alex Garland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, each scene is heavy for the right reasons, or light for the right reasons. When they're on their trip, they go into a grocery store and they loot the grocery store like a bunch of little kids, and they get all the
Oh, I love that
wine
scene.
and candy and cereal and junk food they could ever want.
Yep.
And he leaves his credit card on the counter when they walk out. That was great too.
That whole part in the tunnel is really showing how little Frank has been out of that apartment. He understands the danger, but he doesn't seem to fully understand it. He knows it's dark out, they're going to come out, they're going to come for me, whatever. But he doesn't, it's like he doesn't recognize the danger in a blown tire.
Yeah.
Or,
And, yeah.
anything else going wrong with that cab. It's a blown tire. It's a bad alternator away from all four of you dead in the tunnel.
And he's got his daughter changing it. And like the two men who would be able to defend her lifting the car up, she's going as fast as she can. Like Selene kicks ass, but one against the whole pack, that's not going to work out.
No.
Like it's a risk. And agreed, Frank doesn't know. He doesn't realize. And it happens when they go to the base and he travels through and it's like empty, desolate. It's like a scene from Days Gone. Like when you first drive to the army base and like you see the carnage, that's what it
Yep.
was. And him freaking out, like he realizes and he kind of like succumbs to the reality that the world isn't what it seems anymore.
Yeah.
Like fully realizes, I should
Yeah,
say.
the previous chapter is closed. We're in this now. There's no going back to that. Like,
Yeah.
which is unironically what they end up doing later.
It's sort of the arc that Jim is on, but Jim seems to pick it up quicker.
Yeah, he does figure it out fast. But
Well,
Celine's like in it, like you got to get real. You got to understand. Like Celine knows. Well,
Selena survived 4 weeks on the streets of London.
fair.
They definitely didn't seem like she and Mark had a setup like Frank did, where they were pretty safe.
It's true.
Jim also realizes it when he kills that boy.
Yeah, it's a tough scene.
Yeah.
That whole scene is such an homage to Dawn of the Dead too. Like that's the refueling the helicopter scene in Dawn of the Dead. Right down to the infected or zombie children. It's very homage.
That's when zombie Anakin comes in. And he executes Order
66. I have the high ground. What? I made
There's
that
too
joke.
many, Annie. What are we gonna do?
Made that joke to my dogs.
Yeah.
One dog jumped on. Yeah, Ollie jumped on the higher. They were like play fighting, and Ollie jumped on the armrest, and Gertie's looking at him, and I just looked at her, and I was like, "He's got the higher ground."
So this is the part of the movie where the romance is starting to kick up a bit too, just in time for them to get taken into the army base by a bunch of horny dudes. Hooray!
Well, don't forget about Frank turning.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get there.
Even before that, you get the idyllic like picnic scene, and they see the horses.
Yep.
It's like you have that
freedom.
moment where you're lulled into, maybe this is gonna end well for them. Maybe they're gonna find a place that's safe. And
That's very IFC, by the way. They do the same shit in Monsters and stuff. Like when they did that, like a lot of low budget movies really nail down that whole freedom shot thing before clamping down on the opposite. But it really highlights the fact that they're driving into the jaws of the real beast, which is interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the consistent themes in zombie and infected type of movies is a lot of the times it's the people that are more dangerous.
It's based on real life. So
it's definitely
when the shit goes down, it's usually that's the number one issue, and then the issue that's driving them crazy is the number two issue, which is like this, that, and the other thing. So Frank, we get to the military thing. Did you want to pause for a sec?
Yeah, one more thing to go back to. We had this conversation with the battery and headphones during, this kind of post-apocalyptic thing. How about sleeping pills?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
when Celine's slinging drugs to everybody,
She's
I-
like, I
I-
got
like-
some sleeping pills right here.
he won't notice.
The funniest part of the whole movie is, Dad, can I take drugs too?
Yeah,
Only half a pill
yeah.
once you get
Yeah.
addicted.
But I don't know, that's bold.
Man,
That-
it's
that's
post-apocalyptic. Everything's thrown out the window.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's almost like, all right, if they catch me in my sleep, I'm just gonna sleep through it, and that's fine too. I'm not conscious for when I get killed.
I think that's kind of Celine's edge, but
Yeah.
for me,
yes.
that's when you're ready to give up, and they're fighting awfully hard to be ready to give up in their sleep. Although
Mhm.
that would be a nice way to go, because you wouldn't really notice it.
Imagine what she's seen for 28 days. She's seen like the evolution of this whole
Yeah, it's gonna take a
apocalyptic chaos.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and like that romance kind of brings her back to reality, but also those soldiers, they do
Yeah,
bring her
so
back into reality.
we get to the military station. Things are looking a little weird. So Frank and everybody are out looking around. A lot of dead infected. Like very clear that the people didn't look like people were massacred. It looked like they had been shooting infected and they were all over the place.
Mhm. Now, right as they're getting to that base, there's another scene that it looks like The Walking Dead kind of ripped off. Like, remember
Yes.
like first season Walking Dead on the highway going into Atlanta?
Yep.
Yeah.
You get
That-
that in 28 Days Later too, with the highway going to Manchester, except as they continue to pan up, you see the whole city is burning.
Yeah.
It's a very similar shot.
So,
Hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they would rob any sort of especially for a TV show, which doesn't have the budget anyway. So to grab whatever they could, figure out how to save money. 28 Days Later didn't cost $1 trillion, right?
Ah,
And what was the
it
production
was
cost?
8 million, I think.
8 million,
Let me double
2001.
check. $8 million budget, and it made $84.6 million.
Total? Or like in the first
Total.
year? Wow.
No,
I thought
total.
it did
Overall,
way better than that. Because I saw it in
for
theaters too, and that
2000
theater was packed.
for 2002, I mean, if you do inflation, it's probably over $1 trillion.
No,
Yeah,
it's
maybe
not
even
over
more.
$1 trillion.
Like,
But
being
Clown.
a
but
good
for that
outlook.
kind
Come
of
on now.
movie, 84 million is
It's at least
a
double.
lot.
Yeah, maybe less than double, but still not $1 trillion.
Hard.
Oh, you're
Yeah, I was
funny.
very
The way you said it with
hopeful.
such conviction, was what made me laugh. You're a friggin' riot, dude. So they arrive. What happens to
arrive.
Frank? I've tried to roll into this twice. I'm not doing it again. Ryan, what happens to Frank?
He gets so angry, and he kicks the door, and a blood droplet. It's a really cool scene. The blood droplet just goes right into his eye, and he knows immediately.
Oh, and then we
Yeah,
follow it with the camera too. That was a nice touch.
That's a heart-wrenching scene because you as a audience member, you like Frank. You love Brendan Gleeson, but you like the character Frank. He plays him so well. You make like a good connection, and then he gets it in the eye, and it's like it's not pink eye, like and knocked up, but
It's the first thing he
it's
does
red
is
eye.
he gets Hannah aware of it, tells her to get away, and then tells
Oh,
her he
yeah.
loves her real quick. And I was like,
Well,
oh god,
you see the rage. The rage is like opening up. He's like, I love you, and he's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
He played it like he was in like a heavy metal concert. I appreciate it.
And then he gets the shit shot out of him like instantly by a
Oh
bunch
my
of
god, that
ball shaven
those-
military dudes, and they sucked. They're the worst.
they look like the kids from Mother's Day. Some of them.
Isn't
The one
Doctor
with the
Who in
hat,
this, or
definitely.
is that a different actor?
No,
Who's
Christopher
the
Eccleston
turtle? Yeah.
is Major Henry West.
Yeah, isn't that Doctor Who? One of them?
Yep, that's Doctor Who, and that's Malekith.
Probably
from
the biggest
Thor, the
actor
Dark
in this
World.
movie.
At the time, yeah,
Wouldn't you
Brendan
think Brendan
Gleeson might have
Gleeson?
been pretty
Oh,
big
Brendan
by that
Gleeson.
point. He might have
putting
been
him in
pretty
a
I
big.
think this
supporting role?
movie's
As big as he
him up
got.
into the stratosphere too, though. I know he was more prolific than almost everybody else.
Mhm.
I think this movie really
Yes.
gave him a nudge.
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
see
he was
that.
doing like highbrow stuff before 28 Days Later.
Yeah, was he like in the theater?
Oh God.
Yeah,
The theater.
think- I think he.
Let's see.
I feel like he got cast in a bunch of like Jane Austen movies and stuff.
He was
You were
in
teeing us
Braveheart.
up for that one. Jane Austen movies. That's a choice. I mean,
Braveheart, Mission Impossible 2, Gangs of New York. Right after 28 Days Later, he was in Gangs of New York.
yeah, he got cast in it
So,
right afterward. They're like, we need Irish guys. Like, yeah, we got it, dude. Big ones that fight. Yeah, we got it, dude.
Yeah, we got
Right.
it.
We got that one.
I was watching a clip real quick. I want to, quick second. I was watching a clip with Daniel Day-Lewis, and they were talking about how he actually strapped a piece of glass on his eye, and it took him like a couple weeks to do the knife tapping scene. Like, that's method acting right there. Just a shout out
He's
to Daniel
psychotic.
Day-Lewis.
He's borderline
I love him.
psychotic with it.
He's probably beyond borderline.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
he's a fantastic actor. Everything he's in, I see. Period. Well, did. He's probably truly retired this time. But yeah,
Maybe.
he's phenomenal. Can you imagine if he was in this movie? Whoa.
Oh,
Who do you play?
God.
Daniel Day-Lewis in 28 Days Later. Who does he play?
oof. He plays the
Selena.
major.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see him as the major. I
Yep,
think that's
he would
where
do
I
the
was
major
going,
well.
too.
All right. I was kind of hoping we get to see a sex scene with Cillian Murphy, but all right. See how good his method acting is then.
He's Selena.
Yeah, exactly.
Come here, Jim.
Oh, like Robert Downey Jr.'d up from Tropic Thunder to go the whole nine. Don't change anything about the character. But it's Daniel
Still a
Day-Lewis.
black woman, but is played by Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah. We would have not been ready in 2001 for such goodness. All right.
God, no.
So the major. As we go in, I don't know if they they probably do name a few of them because they all yell to each other throughout the rest of the movie. But I don't remember any of their names because they're all useless.
Yeah, I don't.
fodder.
The only name I remember is their captive infected cohort, who's Mela.
Yep.
That's a good one. So they bring him in. They bring Cillian and the ladies. That's for heretofore to be referred to as Cillian and the ladies into the military base. They seem very enthusiastic about their company. It's immediately off-putting, but not in your face. You don't really know
Yeah, I mean,
until the
in
trapdoor
the-
shuts.
those first couple scenes, it's like the understandable horniness of men who have been only with other men for a while. Hey, oh, lady, but
Yeah.
they're not overtly rapey or anything yet. And
There is a tell, though, with Sergeant Farrell. Like, he's very off-putting about them
Mhm.
looking at the women. So it's like a foreshadow of something
Oh
to go
yeah,
dark.
because he's trying to keep them in line about it, right? To
Yeah.
promise them in. So basically, what we're saying, everybody, is they've lured them in so they could procreate with the lady folk that are in the group.
Yep. Major West, I believe, admits to that he
Yes.
the reason he put that message out there was to try to draw women so they had concubines, I guess, for lack of a better word.
You know what's annoying though? If you think about it, if they hadn't been so abrupt or even forthright about that plan and just been normal, treated them normal, eventually there's two women and a bunch of dudes. Eventually they're going to pair up with somebody and you're going to get the result anyway. So why do you have to turn it into a whole weird, creepy, prima nocta thing? Damn British. No Riz. None Riz.
Oh, Cillian Murphy's Irish, so that's a whole different.
Yeah,
Hell,
so is Henry
really?
Cavill.
Yeah.
So is Henry Cavill. The end. End of argument. I lose.
No, I love Henry Cavill.
Of
Even with
course.
stash.
That's why I lose. There's mostly heterosexual men that lust after that man. So I digress. So yeah, we're at that scene. It's a pivotal scene, like we said earlier, about how it's the people you have to worry about, not the zombies or the infected.
Yep.
For this movie, But then we get an ending sequence that is just freaking good, dude. It really does prop
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie up to another level. It's already a good movie, but then it jumps. And it's the musical score that really brings it there too.
The
Yes.
score is awesome. Like I think this might be the only score I ever bought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I have some soundtrack
Cool.
albums, but the disc is just score.
I
Okay.
could paint my house to that music.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Turning every second. Is there something behind
Yeah.
me?
So they bring Cillian's character. I can't remember his name. I've been fishing for you guys to say his damn name.
Jim.
Oh, Jim.
I've been saying it.
They're bringing
Jim.
Jim. Have you
Good
been
old
saying it?
Jim.
I haven't been picking up on it. So
Yeah.
they're bringing Jim to the trash pile to shoot him, and the other guy who tries to stick up for the girls, they bring him too because he's got to go. Stupid
Sergeant Farrell.
stupid prude, Sergeant Farrell. So they bring stupid Sergeant Farrell over, and they get ready to execute. And what happens? Does he spit in his face? There's some distraction that occurs.
Yeah.
And Cillian
Yeah.
Jim rolls off to the side and hides amongst the bodies, and they can't figure out which. And then don't they shoot like randomly into the pile?
No, they run by it.
Oh, they ran
Mhm.
by him where he
Yeah.
was. Does he do anything revolutionary? I think he just lays down next to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just down long enough for them to run past him, and then he takes off.
Yeah, it's wild. That's a great point too. That he doesn't just sit there, because if he waited long enough, they might have noticed him.
Mm-hmm.
Gets up and he launches. So, and that's pretty much the moral of the story for the end too. He doesn't sit still until way later.
Mm-hmm.
So
He goes crazy. Like in a
Yeah.
good way though.
yeah, he berserkers.
this- Once you hear the siren, you know it's just game over. Or they're like, he ran away. They're like, what do you mean he ran away? They're like, oh, he's done. They hear the siren. They're like, oh, fuck. We messed
Mhm.
up. And it's just so good. Just like
Does he draw
nonstop
infected
action.
back with him on purpose or no?
He lets Mela go.
Yeah, he does
Yes.
that. But does he draw any of them back in? No, right? He just makes his
No.
way back.
Yeah, because I mean that's really one infected can take out that whole compound.
Well, because he's turning them as he goes,
Yeah,
right?
He does.
Yeah,
So it goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 7.
yeah.
So yeah, and they get after it. It does the power of surprise over the power of firearms does get highlighted in that scene too, because the infected are coming through the halls and catching people off guard.
Mhm.
These soldiers who have done such a great job of setting up a perimeter and holding that perimeter are infiltrated, and that changes things drastically. They become complacent.
And I
They
mean they're
weren't prepared.
infiltrated because of themselves. You know, like that's another zombie / infected movie rule.
Yeah.
You don't keep them among where you live. You're asking for trouble.
Yeah, it's true. They were claiming that they were doing it for research purposes, but you could tell there's kind of a frat boy vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Major West said I don't know, was it Major West? It might not have been.
Seeing how
One
long
of
it
them
takes them to
said,
die.
yeah, how long until they starve to death?
And
That
they
was Major
mentioned-
West,
They
yep.
mentioned the amount of time he'd been there, and
Mhm.
it was substantial. He'd been chilling in that little
He looked-
courtyard room.
He looked full. He wasn't going
full.
anywhere. Yeah, they
looked
probably
full.
sacrificed some people.
No,
Yeah.
starving.
I mean, I can't, I have a hard time believing with that group of soldiers that the fact that Mela was black didn't play into their decision as well.
Good call. Didn't think about that. But I did think the visceral part about him being chained up and stuff too then kind of hits you in the stomach. I'm glad that I'm blissfully unaware of that stuff every now and again.
I was
because
oblivious.
I didn't need that to be in my but for this movie it didn't need to be in my mind space, you know what I mean?
No. And I
So,
mean,
Would
that
have
may
muddied
be,
the waters.
that may just be coincidental, but it's another one of those coincidences that kind of works.
I could be stuck in the brain of the zeitgeist. We all have it in like our back of our minds, but
Yeah, but Jim frees him, and he goes apeshit on him. He gets his revenge, spewing.
And the women, meanwhile, by the way, we've kind of forgot about them before we get to the unleashed scene. They've been washed and groomed and clothed, and they are ready for prom night. Last episode, listen to it.
Yeah.
So
Celine's got she's all drugged. Not Selena. Hannah's all drugged up because of Selena. In order to get through that.
Yeah, Celine brings it to her and says, "This will make you not care about what's about to happen," which was good. But then that's a problem when the shit hits the fan and she has to care about things. But it actually saves her life a few times because she would have freaked out. But instead, she's just chilling there.
Yeah.
Very calm. Making the right decisions, but very calm.
Very nonchalant.
That can't be Xanax.
It works.
Or what did they give her? I'd love to find something that doesn't make me drowsy, that makes me not care.
They say it. They say it, I think, in the film. She says it a couple times.
Pfizer sponsored this movie.
So... I don't know. I mean, reviews were high in COVID, supposedly, based on the articles I was reading before the episode.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah,
it's one of the highest movies.
Anything with a virus. 2020 was pretty popular. That Contagion movie was huge again.
Tremblay came out with what is it? Somebody's Song, which is a basically 28 Days Later style virus, but the rabies spreads more slowly. It takes a while for it. It's not Outbreak. It's somebody's song, like Sarah's Song or something. I think it's Tremblay. It's over here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, Survivor Song. Right there. And it came out just as we got locked down. And he laughed all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
Because it was a perfect timing. And it's a good book. It's a zombie book, but it's a pregnant lady trying to get her kid sorted out, and she's been bitten.
Gotcha.
It's a good concept.
That's pretty cool.
And they're at the hospital. They make their way to the hospital. They go to the hospital, and then from there it gets wonky from there. But yeah, good stuff. Same concept. So yeah, during the lockdown, I think I almost watched Outbreak, the movie Outbreak, during lockdown, and I decided against it because I was like, no, thank you.
I did.
You did? No, I didn't need any more of that shit.
I did. I mean, but that's kind of what I do. Before we went on our cruise, I watched all the Poseidon Adventure movies. That's sort of what I do.
Titanic.
That's how you psych yourself up for it.
There's 45 minutes of Titanic is good.
Yeah.
Out of 3+ hours.
Too bad it's not concurrent.
I mean, a lot of it is. I mean, from the iceberg to there's not room on the door for 2 people is awesome.
I like when the crazy there's not room for throws the $10 million diamond overboard. That's my favorite part of the movie. It's like, she fucked up again. Stop letting her drop things into the ocean. First Jack, now this.
Let's not let her on the ocean anymore.
Yes, it's bad stuff happens. She was there when the submersible went down, the Titan submersible.
Absolutely. She was piloting it.
Did you see they released footage of that, by the way?
There's a documentary.
They just released reaction footage because she was watching the laptop when it imploded, and she goes, "Did you hear that thud?" And they heard the second it happened, but they didn't know that it had imploded yet. Which is wild too.
I'm guessing that's from the documentary, but
it was just released in court papers and in court proceedings, rather. So I don't know if it has to do with documentary or not, but it could be. It was cool. It was hard to watch too because her husband was the guy in it, and she was sort of like, "Did you hear that strange noise?" And that was his head popping. Yeah, too much. Ryan, cut that. If it's left in and you guys didn't like it, it's because Ryan didn't cut it and he was supposed to.
Head popping is better than the other thing. Patreon.
It all popped. It all popped. So, all right. So I did that part. Now, Ryan, you get to run with the part you wanted to talk about. What do they do with the chained up guy?
I I mean, Jim shoots him. Oh, shoots the chain, and he just goes buck wild. And the thing is like he's just going into every room left and right. And I feel like he can go after. I mean, he's going after anyone. He's infected, but it's one of the infected, and it seems like he's targeting them. He's targeting all the soldiers, which is interesting because it shows that maybe there's a little development in these infected creatures. Like they're smarter than what they look, and it shows slowly. Like in small parts of the movie, they are intelligent, but the private here, Private Mailer, he was targeting and shows the intelligence has grown on him. He's adapted.
Which would be another Romero homage.
Yeah,
because that's
that
Day of the
happens.
Dead. That's Bob.
Day of the Dead. Yep.
A lot of similarities.
Mm-hmm.
He takes down most of the soldiers. Jim gets into a fight with some of the soldiers. Gets into a fight with the major, doesn't he?
Well,
They
Major
get
shoots
into a
him.
scrum. Yeah, they get into a scrum. Yeah, Jim takes one for the team. They get in the car. They have their phantasm moment where they do the freeze frame.
Oh, he gets pulled out the window. That's another
Yeah.
phantasm moment.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Everything in the car at the end reminded me of Phantasm, especially rewatching
Boy.
Phantasm.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting yoinked out of the car and everything. But they escape. Hannah and all of them, they all get out and drive off into the sunset. And you assume Jim's going to die. He's dead.
Well, do you guys know there's alternative endings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say
Now I
that.
wonder.
I mean, all of them, Jim does die in each one. And it wasn't popular. It wasn't popular by audiences.
Well,
genuinely
we
was
like
not
Jim
popular.
not dying. It's true. I enjoyed the one where he lived too.
Yeah.
The movie deserved a happy ending, I think, and it got one. The theatrical release got one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Well, they had no
So-
choice. I mean,
But
audiences
did you
just
see
like
the
to get-
alternate? Did you see the alternate endings?
No. I read about them how like there's one where he gets killed instantly. There's one where he dies in a coma and it's in a dream sequence. And the other one is so Frank lived and Jim does a blood transfusion because they find this laboratory and he saves Frank, which
That would have been the worst one.
like, but then
Yeah.
how do you hate it? Because like Frank was a good character too. So it's like, who's better, Frank or Jim? I mean,
Frank
Because-
needed
Jim,
to die.
obviously.
Yeah, because there's no way Frank can survive the military compound anyway.
Yeah, that's
He-
imagine him
he's-
shirtless
he's-
running around.
He's going to be out in that pit too being executed because there's no way he's going to go along with giving his daughter to the soldiers.
Nah, no, not Frank.
There
Well, I
you
hope
have
not.
it. You have the ending where they have the word help strewn about in clothes, which was cool too. That shows them like stitching those together into the big sign for help. And then
Oh,
eventually,
it says hello.
oh, hello, right.
It says hello.
And then
Hello.
an airplane flies over, and that's how the movie ends. You realize it is not a worldwide issue.
Yep.
Just the United Kingdom is hit. It'd be kind of cool if it never made it to Scotland, but it does. It does.
You just want to see
Yeah.
Mel Gibson with a sword and a kilt, all right?
He loves killing
Scotland.
British zombies too. So that's 28 days later, guys. It's a fantastic watch.
Yep.
Obviously because you must have seen it, and you're gonna see it again because the third movie's coming out in the near future.
Yep.
I don't know what the
End of
release
June.
date is. End of June.
It's the end
we
of
gotta
June.
see
Yeah,
that.
you know,
We gotta
Yeah.
see that in IMAX.
that'd
That's
be
gonna be
amazing.
insufferable, though. I hate seeing movies in theaters these days, especially with specific types of crowds, and this type of crowd's gonna suck.
I missed out on Sinners. Sinners isn't
This
even
might-
in theaters.
This might be an okay crowd.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
It's
think
not.
this is
It's
gonna
We
be
see
not
a
really
really.
good.
a good crowd. Speaking of great crowds,
I don't think 28 years later is gonna draw like
I think it might.
kid.
Oh, okay.
I think
Well,
it
I mean,
will.
the teenagers though, because that's who sucks.
Yeah,
And that's not
I
our
don't-
target audience, so we can leave that in the clip.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know that they would be drawn to 28 years later.
Now it's gonna get out on Discord and TikTok. What are you looking at over there? Somebody there, Ryan? You getting held up at gunpoint?
No, it's like I hear like the water dripping out by the sunroom. So I'm like, what the hell's going on out here? It sounds like someone's like jumping on the deck. I'm just like, what the hell is going on out there?
Huh. All right, well, he's dead. Uh,
It's gonna be the opening of 825 Forest Lane.
yeah, there it is.
Oh no. No, Helen.
So that's it. That's 28 days later. Really don't have too much more to go into on it. I think we touched on everything, and it's an hour in. So we're
And
gonna
it's a
get into
great
the top
movie.
fives.
Well,
It
real
is.
quick, it is a great movie, and if you want to watch it, it's hard to come by physical unless you want to spend an arm and a leg. So the best way to watch it is on Amazon. I think renting it is like $3.99. To buy it, it's like $12 for standard, $15 for HD. So,
For
and that's for the
marketing, they're gonna
digital
have it.
version.
They're gonna have it free streaming soon. They have to, right?
December
Gotta be
18th.
I
out.
don't know. There's
Is rumored.
something weird going on with it that like it's getting a small theatrical re-release, and then it's getting a 4K physical release in the UK in December.
Weird.
But there's no worry. And if like I watched it, I have the Blu-ray. Like I think it's the original Blu-ray release. It needs that upgrade. Like it looks like a 2002 movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it does. I also think it's because of the camera work. They used a smaller camera for the quick
Mhm.
movements, and so like
Mhm.
they can be quick because I mean a lot of the locations they filmed at, it was either in the morning, early in the morning dawn, or they had to be quick and did a lot of like independent, of course, style filmmaking, which again, it's
Yeah.
a very independent film, even though with a great cast.
Mm-hmm. All right,
But
guys.
with the top fives, I'm gonna say this.
Thank you.
I
I'm fading
I haven't
fast.
I haven't watched 2 of them, but they are on my list to watch, but I have watched the 3, so I'm gonna start with the 2 I haven't watched. They are on my list. I'm gonna start off, and it's also about viruses, I'm sorry. These are all
Okay.
films related with viruses, and number 5, George A. Romero's The Crazies. It's been on my list.
Nice.
I've seen the remake, but the thing is the original one, I've heard so many great things about it, and it's really that start. And with George A. Romero's directing, you know it's a
Mhm.
classic, and there's more of a message in it. It's very like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. There's more of a message to it.
Great nuke
Yeah,
scene too.
it
Great.
definitely feels like it belongs in the Night of Living Dead universe. It's the
Okay.
same, a lot of similarities. It's so good.
Do you think it's like a prequel? I haven't seen it, but like
No,
maybe
because
like
it's
technically
the.
considered.
I mean, it's
The
definitely a different
Don't forget-
outbreak. Yeah.
Yeah. We would have
What
known
happened?
about the nuke
Okay.
at the end of
It's
the
it's
Crazies.
a
There's one of the best
very,
nuke
very,
scenes.
very different outbreak. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that starts off with number 5. Number 4, I believe you guys have seen this. 2006, Children of Men, starring one of my favorite actors, Clive
Good
Owen.
one. We can't have
the whole-
kids.
Yeah, that's
She's
that's
having
the
a
whole
kid.
thing.
Let's kill her.
The scenes I've seen, where they're like traveling and it's very warfare, it's always caught my eye, but I've always seen it from the middle, and that's another film that's like hard to come by nowadays. It's like a hidden gem.
Wasn't that
so to
good?
say.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. It was good, but it wasn't that good. And it wasn't very. They didn't make a lot of them because of that.
No.
It was a very niche audience,
Yeah.
like the age range of people interested. I was in my 20s, I think, when that came out, and I remember it was hard for me to soldier through it because it really wasn't made for me.
Yeah.
I think they were attracting like the whole like Clive Owen, like good actor. He was in Sin City. He played Dwight. So like he had like his star
That
was like on
before
the
Sin
rise.
City or after though? That was before, or
This was after Sin City.
after Sin City. Okay.
So like he got his like he had his part in Sin City. He was Dwight. He got like that big part. And then sadly, drinking led to his downfall. But I know he's making a comeback.
Oh, he
Recently,
drank
he's, I
himself
think,
out
in
of acting?
yeah,
Well, that's
he's a
fine.
heavy drinker,
I had enough
really
of him.
heavy drinker.
Not gonna lie. He was
Wait, hold on.
broke-ass George Clooney we didn't need. I'll
So
say it.
you didn't
Fuck
like
you,
him in Shoot 'Em
Clive.
Up?
Move on to movie number 3. Shoot 'em
I-
up.
Shoot 'em up.
Number
What?
3.
I'm getting Clive Owen and Gerard Butler mixed up in my head, and I
Well,
don't know if it's because
Gerard
they're
Butler
similar
is-
or
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. I think that Gerard Butler probably took Clive Owen's future roles.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Number 3.
Number 3, I have to. We mentioned it earlier. I Am Legend. Will
Nice.
Smith. Not my favorite. My favorite version is the Omega Man, but with the concept of viruses, Will Smith's version really does the concept very well, I feel.
Omega
just-
Man is
with-
your favorite.
Yeah, I love The Last Man on Earth, but I just Neville. It's just like I know it's not the story exactly because the
Mhm.
creatures are talking and they're basically human, but that's what I don't know. I
Mhm.
like that campiness and just Charlton Heston.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
like
put
Charlton
Vincent
Heston.
Price in anything, and I'm gonna lean towards that. But
Oh, of course.
Omega Man's great.
They're all different in each way, in their own way.
Mhm.
I Am Legend is just more apparent with the creatures. I feel like when The Last Man on Earth, it's a great film, but like it's more Vincent Price. It's more of
Yeah.
his acting coming out and just like him. I remember him boarding up the windows, him driving and like he's hunting the buildings. It is more of his piece to grow as an actor, I feel, or grow further to show his acting abilities. While like with the Charlton Heston one, it's like sci-fi, horror, action all rolled in one. And I think
Mhm.
that was like right after Planet of the Apes. So
Might have
like
been. What's movie number 2?
number damn. Number 2? All right. You're going to like this. You'll pop for this.
Doubtful.
2000 damn. 2011 Contagion. And I'm going to tell you why it's number 2. It's number 2 because Gwyneth Paltrow dies in the beginning of the film.
They cut off her fucking head. What's number 1?
So wait, does her getting killed in the beginning elevate it to 2 or keep it from being number 1?
No, it elevates it from 2.
It's a 2. Yeah. They don't
why-
actually cut
it's-
off her head. I lied, by the way.
No, they do in another movie, but
No clarifying questions, John. What's number 1?
Well, number 1, that's it.
Yeah.
Jude Law's in Contagion too, by the way. Number 1,
He is. He is. I'm sorry. Did you write like detailed notes? Jude Law is a
No.
charlatan that deserves to be shot. All right. The end. In the movie, not in real life. He's a great sniper that
Well-
saved Russia from the Nazis. But
well,
I'm tired and I want the
all
top
right.
5 to be over. So keep going, Ryan.
All right, I'll jump to number 1. It's 1995, starring Bruce Willis, starring Brad Pitt. It's a remake of a French film, which I have seen.
Really good choice, dude.
La Chattie, 12 Monkeys. And if you guys
Yeah.
have never seen La Chattie, I recommend it. It's a little over an hour, and the whole movie's still photos, and it's all still images with the narration and music in the background. But 12 Monkeys, it's just Brad Pitt as a nut and just the story. They do a good remake of it, and just Bruce Willis kills. And the ending, watch the movie. But listen, as much as we're talking about my top 5, John, we got to hear yours.
Thank
We
you
got
so
we got to
much.
get into
Thank
it.
you so much for that. I was gonna say a couple things and I kept my mouth shut because I'm now so tired. John, you're up.
All right, I went with monkeys.
12
Okay.
of them?
Congo?
I did not put 12 monkeys on here. I also
Oh.
did not put Outbreak.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
Because the Outbreak's
Congo?
not. And you'll find out. I also didn't put Dead Alive / Brain Damage on there because I think I've put that on 2 or 3 lists already. And if you haven't seen it, the monkey isn't gonna draw you in either. All right.
Everyone should see that movie.
Number 5. Ryan will be pleased. Congo.
Oh, you nailed it. Congo was the
Amy,
first
Congo.
answer.
Amy
Congo
Man,
would be
Love.
it's the
high.
worst costuming of any film of ever, but damn, was it a good book.
Congo would be higher if I felt like it was a true horror movie.
Fair.
But, so CEO's son goes missing on a quest to find large diamonds to power some laser communicator shit. It's not important. He goes some monkeys
Space
kill him.
Jew stuff.
Yes.
They send another team to find the missing kid and the diamonds, and they find the violent gorillas, and everybody dies. You get the very much still alive Tim Curry.
I was going to say, Tim Curry's still alive.
He's the chief monkey.
It's,
He's
You
just
get
chewing on
Laurel
Gwyneth Paltrow's head throughout the whole film.
he's a Disney
I-
princess, too.
and I had forgotten Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, Bruce
No.
Campbell's in it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, great
He's in it.
great movie mention. Congo.
Number 4. Shakma.
Talk about
What the
what?
hell, Shakma? Hey,
Shakma. Shakma. So, a group of medical students sequestered in a medical building for a night of D&D come under attack by a baboon escaped from baboon death row and loaded up on an experimental non-aggression drug
One
that made them
badass
very
baboon.
aggressive.
Ah, well, sounds like 28 Days Later. Good job.
Yep. And you get some Roddy McDowell in that one.
Mm,
Nice, dude.
a little Rowdy McDowell.
Yeah, I seem to have found movies with some weird monkey things going on, like because number 3 is Phenomena, which is the Dario Argento movie with young Jennifer Connelly as a girl who can psychically communicate with insects,
Cool.
Right.
and
How young?
this ability helps her solve a serial killer with the help of Inga, a service monkey.
Nice.
For a professor played by Donald Pleasance. Not only does the monkey help solve the crime, the monkey has a switchblade.
Sweet.
And a leather
That's
jacket.
awesome. And she's all right.
No leather jacket.
No leather jacket.
I feel like 1 and 2 are pretty predictable, but number 2 is Monkey Shines.
Monkey Shine.
Okay. Monkey Shines
This is
works.
before the movie The Monkey comes
Mhm.
out soon, by the way. But yeah. What's the Monkey
Um,
Shine, John? What's the
It's directed by George Romero, so right off the bat, I love it.
Yeah.
Alan Mann, a quadriplegic, is gifted a genetic experiment service monkey by his best friend Jeffrey. Ella the monkey really improves Alan's life, like tremendously, but Jeffrey's continuing to inject it with the experimental drug, making it a very dangerous monkey.
Once you say genetics, it's like it's awful. You know it's going to go downhill eventually.
Yeah.
And I've seen Monkey Shines. It does. The
Mhm.
obsession is there.
Yep. And my number 1 actually surprised me that I liked it because it falls in that category of hyped current recent movies that I usually don't like. Number 1 is Nope.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Because the monkey scenes, yeah, I completely forgot about the chimpanzee killing everybody on the TV show.
Yeah.
That's probably the best part of the movie, too.
It's absolutely the best part of the movie, and it's the part of the movie that I would want to see made into another movie.
Oh, yeah.
I want to
Just do an hour and a
see.
half of that.
I want to see Gordy wild out for an hour.
He does some damage. Did you watch the Edgar Allan Poe show on Netflix? What was that? The Fall of the House of Usher, right?
Fall of the House of
I-
Usher.
You haven't
It's
watched
excellent.
it? Really?
No.
If you want to see some monkey on human shenanigans, there's a great episode in that. Third
I
episode.
think it was episode 3. I think, yeah. I was gonna say if they use that mauling scene, that's what I was expecting in that episode. What they do in 28 Days Later. More gruesome though, because John, I know you're not a Mike Flanagan fan, but he did a good job with this Edgar Allan Poe. I thought you weren't. I'm sorry.
I
You
mean,
really
I'm not a fan, but I'm not a fan either.
lukewarm.
He
Okay.
just sort of exists.
There you go.
He's
You
just
can.
there.
The problem with trying to convey what damage a chimp can do is that it's unimaginable damage. A chimp will rip your face off and feed it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And like it'll then make a joke and place your face on your ass while you're on the ground writhing in pain. That's what a chimp will do. The things they do to each other when they're angry with each other is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think you're ever going to see a movie that shows the true ability. What a chimp will do to someone. That happened to
One
a
day.
woman in Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah. Somebody's pet chimp went nuts.
He ripped her face off, literally.
Yeah.
Ripped her face off. Do you ever see what she looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
it's
tough.
rough.
That's tough. I can
Yeah.
imagine. Just this is my life now. I look like a child's drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal. All right, well,
It's
guys,
true.
that was the
true.
episode on 28 days later. I have to go to sleep. It's been real.
Have a
It's
good
been
one,
fun.
guys.
See ya.